Want to dine out in style, discover what's hot this season, or know how to spend a great weekend? Read FT Weekend for fresh ideas and inspiration every Saturday and Sunday. Start your weekend thinking with a curated mix of culture, style, food, and inspiring long reads. Enjoy the best Financial Times news journalism, then tuck into lunch with the FT and HTSI. Check out the best deep dives on the arts, travel, wine, homes, and more. Pick up a copy or read more at ft.com.
Hello and welcome to Food Neighbourhoods on Monocle Radio. I'm Monica Lillis, and once again we're visiting the places locals love for their food and drink. This week, Angelica Jopson heads to the western coastline of Cape Town's Kalk Bay and to a small fishing village oozing bohemian charm. Nestled between mountain and sea, Kalk Bay is dotted with coffee shops and restaurants offering plenty to eat and drink. Here she picks out the best spots to delight lovers of characterful cafes, fresh seafood and local wine. Take a listen.
The western curve of Cape Town's Kalk Bay is home to a line of pretty towns wedged between the Atlantic Ocean and a mountainous spine of sandstone peaks. You'd be in luck finding something delicious to eat wherever you stopped along this crescent, but it's the small fishing village of Kalk Bay, a quirky bohemian gem and, in my opinion, the prettiest of the bunch, that is today's culinary conquest. Despite the slower coastal pace, mornings start early in Kalk Bay. There's a handful of places to head for the first coffee of the day, but there are two that should be top of your list. Utter the words Olympia Cafe to any local, and you'll immediately feel the sense of pride and ownership they have over this institution, and with solid reason. Credited with bringing good coffee to the Southern Peninsula, it was a pioneer of the late 90s, bringing a well-made flat white to a sea of translucent drip coffee. Olympia has two sides to it, a bakery with takeaway coffees and pastries, and a deli restaurant with black and white checkered floors, a mismatch of colourful chairs, and a chalkboard menu that serves food into the evening. The menu changes, but when available, the mussels deserve an honourable mention. The bakery, which has a separate entrance down a side street, is a welcoming waft of warm bread. For a sweet start, the almond croissants are particularly good with a strong Americano. They're big, bulbous, and gratuitously laden with a sticky white icing that would shock their sleeker Parisian cousins. Also on offer, though not every day, are cinnamon-topped milk tarts. A classic South African dessert, the milk tart emerged amongst Dutch settlers in the 17th century and has the hallmarks of a classic custard tart, but with ratios that give it a delicate, milkier taste. Olympia's bakers usually make a batch on Fridays and Saturdays, but keep an eye out, as they sometimes have a few available during the week if they've fulfilled orders for parties and events and have been kind enough to make extras for hungry customers. Our second coffee and breakfast stop is Bob's Bagels, a 5-minute walk down the main street dotted with its independent bookshops, record stores, curios and clothing. Take a left towards the mountains, and tucked away a block up you'll find the striking red and white facade of Bob's, a micro-roastery, art gallery and bagel heaven. Unless you're steely and single-minded, it'll take you a while to get to the counter, and once you do, you might find a print or two of local art tucked under an arm. The bagel options are written on an unwound brown paper roll, and there's plenty to choose from. The nate is a particular favourite, loaded with avocado, bacon, egg and cheddar, and with the added punch of mazavaru, a Mauritian chili paste that shows off the level of heat which the average South African palate calls standard. Kalk Bay has a rich and diverse history shaped by the sea and its people. Khoisan hunter-gatherers inhabited the area for centuries before external settlement, and it was named Kalk Bay or Kalk Bay by the Dutch for the seashells that early settlers burned to produce lime. By the 1800s, it had grown into a small fishing community primarily of slaves from British colonies of Bengal, Indonesia and Ceylon, and was an important whaling outpost until the industry collapsed in the 20th century. There was a growth spurt with the arrival of Filipino fishermen from the 1850s onwards, and the development of a railway through town years later opened up markets for the fishing trade into Cape Town, and occasionally into the interior. Kalk Bay was an outlier during apartheid, as the fishing community largely stayed together in the face of plans to forcibly remove non-white residents. For all its trendy, chic charm, the real warmth of Kalk Bay comes from its residents and the history that it's built on. The Brass Bell is an iconic water's edge eatery that was initially built as a council-run tea room from 1939 and is the perfect spot for a laid-back lunch. Today, it's a small complex of pub-style terrace dining areas with views across the ocean. In the summertime, you can sit at a picnic bench with your feet nestled in the sand. Uniquely, it's set around 2 spectacular tidal pools. Plan your visit around a pre-lunch dip, if you dare. But if you're decidedly not built for the cold Atlantic Ocean, you can watch other swimmers doing their laps, or enjoying the ferocious spray of incoming waves and concentrate on what's on the menu. An easy way around indecision is to go straight for the Kalk Bay platter, which gives you a little bit of everything, including abalone croquettes, prawns, mussels and lionfish, with enough sides to ensure you'd sink straight to the bottom of the ocean. If you must choose, then I'd suggest a mound of seared queen prawns in lemon butter, paired with a watermelon and feta salad from the starter menu, and a glass of crisp Sauvignon Blanc from the Steenberg Vineyard, a short drive away. The picturesque working harbour is the centre of Kalk Bay's small community. Take a walk down the jetty and you'll see traditional wooden handline boats next to more modern vessels. The green and white Ivy Doreen bobs next to the bigger Taj Mahal. They are untied well before daybreak as small-scale fishermen make their way into the harbour to catch everything from yellowtail to crayfish. During snook season, some of the bigger boats go all the way around Cape Point to follow the Atlantic shoals.
We have some snook, we have some bream, and we have some soles and yellowtail.
If you fancy being your own chef, you can buy fresh fish straight from the boats. Or you can try the next best thing, the much-loved community staple Kalkies, just a few steps away. Kalkies is no-frill seafood with an inside area of colourful plastic tables and chairs. Outside, a collection of communal picnic benches overlook the harbour. The ordering process is not to be messed with, especially when it gets busy and the queue starts to snake out the door. The cashiers have no time for dawdling, so be sure to know what you want and remember to bring cash. First-timers can't go wrong with a straight-up fish and chips. Once you get your ticket, take a seat, and then listen out for your number to be called. Wave your arms in the air, and your order will be brought right over. If you choose to get your order in a takeaway box, I recommend opening it as soon as you can to allow the steam to escape. You'll be grateful to outwit the condensation. But even so, if you are hoping for an ultra-crispy portion of fries under your fish, you're out of luck. You'll find instead the traditional South African slap chip. Slap being the Afrikaans word for flabby or soft. Thick-cut potatoes are either soaked in water or parboiled briefly to remove excess starch before frying. The slap chip favours achieving a fluffy inside over a crispy exterior, and the heap in front of you is best enjoyed doused in vinegar and sprinkled liberally with salt. You can buy cold drinks and local beer here, but you can also bring your own and take in the sea air and local vibe without hassle or hurry. For the very same fish, but with a different approach, the stylish Harbour House offers a refined dining experience with spectacular views. It's just the other side of the fish market, a minute's walk from laid-back Kalkies. But the route isn't without its potential perils. Brown fur seals are common around the harbour, hoping for their own seafood snacks from the fishing boat, and today one has picked this sunny path to while away an early evening, sending me on a mini diversion not to disrupt its peaceful sunbathing or attract its ire. Harbour House is perched on the rocks above Kalk Bay Harbour and has a fresh white interior and floor-to-ceiling windows that amplify the drama of the beautiful surroundings. The oysters are a standout on the starter menu. so much so that it's tempting to keep ordering more right past dessert. Even the most hardline au naturel fan should try some with lime zest, pickled fennel, and capers braised in South African craft-distilled amber gin. For mains, Harbour House's signature dish is a yellow miso and rice wine marinated sea bass with a ginger, lime, and coconut-infused risotto. Due to its proximity to some of South Africa's most lauded vineyards, most eateries in Cape Town and Kalk Bay have an exciting wine selection, and Harbour House is no different. Fizz lovers should try the pale golden bubbles of the Boschendal Brut from an hour up the road, or pair oysters with the Buitenverwachtung Beten Blanc from a captivating vineyard 20 minutes drive away. For dessert, if you've managed to successfully cease oyster operations, a perfectly simple creme brulee and a sip of sweet award-winning Vin de Constance from the famous and heartbreakingly pretty Klein Constantia estate. I'll leave you with one last sweet treat in another legendary establishment that should be visited anytime and often on your Kalk Bay adventure. The Ice Cafe on Main Road, with its vivid mosaic borders and scrumptious flavours, is simple perfection, just like the small fishing village itself.
Food Neighbourhoods is a Monocle production from the team behind the menu. This episode was written and edited by Angelica Jopson. For more food and drink stories, tune into the menu every Friday at 2000 London time. I'm Monica Lillis, thanks for listening.